Okay, here we are. My least favorite part of any project. Redoing something that you did. Um, I don't know if I have to redo this, but I want to. I just don't like how it looks. Um, this this beam that I put together uh, is not tight, and this inner board is curling off like this. So I don't know if you can see it well here, but each one of those is touching at the top and not touching at the bottom because that beam is curling over. I don't know where it's easiest to see, but I don't like it. Like if you look at that one, I mean that's terrible. It's touching at the top and then it's almost an inch out at the bottom. And I don't like that at all. And so I have to redo this beam. The problem is I've built the garage on top of it, so I have to find a way to redo that. Uh, and leave everything in place. So it looks even crazier from the top floor. And the reason I'm doing it now is because let's do it before we get any more garage on top of it. And because I'm getting ready to build something on top of it. But check this out. See that gap there? It's just too big. I don't like it. That whole board is curling over. I noticed this yesterday. I don't believe this gap was that big. And so it's almost like it's pulled away. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it's the same over here. It's a little bit bigger there, and then it closes up. But look at that gap. I mean, it's too big. And I tried putting lag screws to tighten it down when I first put it up, but it never really did. And so I'm going to take it apart. I checked this outside wall, and it's, straight and true. It hasn't bowed out. Obviously, I checked this downstairs, but I mean, so my worry was that the center of the garage was kind of ballooning out, which is why there was a gap there, but I don't see any evidence of that. So I'm not really sure why it changed, but it's time to undo it. So lame, but it's better to do it now than to either have it fail or have to do it once the entire garage is built. So I'm getting ready to laminate these posts, put another post here, and I've got to set it there. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, ugh, I'm going to set a post on top of that? No. I want that fixed nice and tight. I want it tight like these two. See that? And this is a nice beam right here, boy. Phew. I built that yesterday because I know what I'm doing now. Right. So here we Step 1, fixing your mistake. Remove all of the nails that aren't really holding any weight. So all the nails on the top of this row, in the top of the plywood, I removed. Step 2, basically how I've decided to fix this is to remove the joist or the rim on this side, because this one is 12 feet long. It starts there on, you're looking at my nose. It starts there and it ends there. So I can remove that rim. Because I can't make these joists any longer, because I don't have a joist stretcher, I think I have to fatten that beam out. So what I want to do is take that piece of the beam, that rim, out, and solidly attach this inner side back to this post. You see this gap here? That was intended to be there, but the problem is it didn't allow me any place to hook it. So I'm going to fill it in with a piece of plywood and then attach it from the inside solidly back to that beam. So that beam is held there. And then I'm going to put a piece of plywood in between the two beams, solidly attach that, nail the heck out of it, and then put this back in there, and then nail the heck out of that, and then attach the joists back to it. So this will be a little bit fatter, but it should be solidly against the edge of those joists. So we're going to try. Hopefully it works. Oh yeah, step 2, I have to support all of these joists. So what I could do is put up one big beam and then support each end of that beam. But I don't have a good way to hold the beam there, so I think I'm just going to put up a support under each joist. Because they're all nailed from the top, they're not going to move laterally, so that should be just fine. Okay, so that was most of the day. I am much happier with how this beam is now than I was before. It's not ideal, but it's what I could manage. I hate saying this. I don't like people who say it, but it's the best I could do. I mean, but that's the phrase that fits the most. It's the best I could do with something that's already built without dismantling it and recutting the joists. The joists were short because when I installed it, the rim was laid over, and so the joists touched the top of the rim. And most of these joists, I had to cut this end off. And that's where that extra length came from, was this rim tipped over. So this is what we have. So this doesn't need to be on here. Bye-bye. So what I did is I put this piece of 3/4 inch plywood in here. Then I drilled a hole in this rim, and I put that lag screw, which you can see in there. There's a hole big enough for the socket and everything to fit through. And I screwed this rim to this post, straight in. And I sucked that in. So that corrected my camber in this piece. So I wanted to then take this one and then screw it tight to here. But that would give me this much of a gap from the joist and the hanger, and I'd rather have the gap here, so I put this piece of 3/8 in here, and then I drilled all the way through this post, this plywood, these two, and I put an 8-inch bolt, and I sucked it together down on the bottom. So as you can see, this gap gets smaller until nothing, and so effectively what I've done is I've taken this board and I've bent it in to meet this one. So what I did is I pried this open the whole way. I took all the nails out. I pried it open, and then I attached all my joists to this one, so they're tight up against this piece here. Then I secured all my joists. Then I came through and started in the middle, and I started to bolt this outside rim in with, where are they? Should do this from down below. Is that one? Yeah, those are two of them. So then I bolted them in a whole bunch of spots until I got back to here, and that's pretty much as good as it'll get. So I'm totally psyched with that. It's not rolling over anymore. It really was terrible. Also, what I needed to do in the process was make sure that this was a solid place to put a post. This post will be sitting right here, so I'll probably cut out a little bit more. But now I know that I'm setting it on this one, which is now upright and solid, and it's got a lag screw into this post as well. So I know this is a solid place to put my post. Now the post doesn't necessarily have to sit perfectly, because it's going to be bolted in here all the way up, and so a lot of its load can be transferred through those bolts, but I'd rather it didn't. The bolt's job is not to hold the weight of the building. It's to keep the posts from twisting and warping under the weight. So hopefully that's what they will do. So if you look down here, all the joists are now nice and tight all the way from the top to the bottom, and that rim is not lying over anymore. So there you can see the gap. And that joist actually I could not get back in, but so that I am much happier with. And although I had to waste a whole day doing it, it's not something that I wanted to just let go. I also realized that I didn't put nails in my joist hangers on these four over here. I nailed it at the top of each one, but I didn't go back and put the nails in. And that might be, I mean, these had 2 nails in them, but I didn't put 4 nails in them. And these joist hangers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes into the face, and then 4 holes toenailing the joists. And I found out, I looked it up later, and it says use every hole, which is an insane amount of nails. But my plan was to go back, and I'm talking a lot. My plan was to go back and put nails in all of them, you know, in my spare time. But I hurt my back, and that was one of the tasks that was going to happen in that week, and I didn't do it, and then I forgot about it. And so I'm glad I caught it now before I loaded the place up and had something come crashing down. So my nose is really itchy because it's got a bunch of sawdust in it. But so we're still cooking along. I fixed a major error that I didn't sleep very well last night because of it, and now I am psyched that that's not an issue. So rock on. I just said rock on. It's too bad. Yay? Yay's not gonna work. Yeah, I got nothing.